Well, hi there. This is Kevin Moffat with another Manna Nugget. I'm hoping this series of teachings is blessing you, and I would encourage you, if it is, if it so is, if you would just click on the subscribe button down below the video there, and it'll, give you a heads up every time I release a new one and feed your spirit, I would hope. And if that's so, I'm all about the business of doing that. Uh, Manaart.com is a great place to go to get your spirit blessed, and that's MANNAART.com. And along with a lot of the prophetic work there that's scrolling by, that's some of it, and it gives you something to keep ticking with. And then the site as what originals are still available, and you can buy in print in different sizes. And then Kevin Moffat art, which is in studio work, which is acrylic flow painting. It's like the one that's just behind me there. And let's see if I can get it out of the way enough so you can have some fun looking at that. These are way cool, a lot of fun, kind of acrylic flow painting stuff, which is very spontaneous. I'm a spontaneous art kind of guy. Uh, I mean, I certainly appreciate stuff that's mapped out, planned out, and going for it kind of thing. But I'm created to be spontaneous. Like with the prophetic art, it's all spontaneous, and I'm only doing it mainly at conferences during times of worship. And so I never come in with a preconceived notion, even when I thought I had one. You kind of see it. And I'm happy when that happens. Yeah, it's kind of a scary place to be when you're standing there in front of hundreds of people, but he's proven himself to be faithful, and I'm just loving it. So you can also go to Mana Silks through that website, or go to manasilks.com, and that's a commercial line of silk scarves where I'm very aware the anointing is coming off my hands, and when somebody gets that scarf on, I'm hoping that they get like, who do you know and how do I get to know them, kind of thing. And on the Mana Art site, there's also Mana Tees. Those are T-shirts and totes that from paintings that I've done, and it's the whole T-shirt. It's not just a box, front or back. It's the whole shirt. So when I do something, because it's for the kingdom, it has to be done in excellence. It operates at a higher level. So understand that what you're getting if you decide to buy something. These things are done in excellence. I've looked for the people that help me get that at a higher level, and even with the scarves, they are done with a level of excellence. Also, in the Mana Silks, or excuse me, Mana Art site, there are dance shawls, which are come in many different colors, and it's very light, large uh, pieces of silk that are done in many different colors. So I've watched some people use them, and just like, this is so cool. So be encouraged to go there, and I'm happy to do Kingdom Creativity Schools, which you can schedule through me, and uh, also go to YouTube like you are right now, and check those things out. And I'm delighted to come and teach and or do a Zoom meeting if you want to do something like that. And if you feel like getting behind what I'm doing and help me out financially, that would go. You can go to patreon.com. Be a patron and look up Kevin Moffat. And there are many different ways you can financially get behind what I do. Patreon.com is for creative people to get the financing they need to do what they do. Yep, because it's not easy in any other way. And also, I have some artwork on a website called propheticsgallery.com. And Prophetics Gallery is a website with hundreds of international prophetic, very good prophetic artists. And Debbie's done very well to set that up and offer many different ways that you can afford to buy that art, to decorate your home, but you're also decorating your inner temple, if you will, with these things. And so please go and check it out. And I think you'll really be blessed by it. So this particular teaching is about the orphan spirit, which the arts, for the most part, right now still exists in. It's not fully back in yet. It's certainly moving in that direction of getting back in, into the Father's arms. But we were orphaned at the Protestant Reformation. That's a whole nother discussion. But our job at this point is to deal with this orphan spirit. We must get a healthy understanding of what that is and why that is, and a kingdom understanding of who the Father is, and embrace our relationship to Him. A couple hundred years ago, creativity became an abandoned child. Something tragic occurred during the Protestant Reformation. Actually, there were many tragic things that occurred then. Grace was recognized, thank God, but there wasn't much grace given to the arts at that time. The religious institution of the past may have been riddled with abuses, but there probably was and is much that was correct about it, about getting rid of, quite a few things that were going on. No question about it. There were things that were going on that should not have been going on. But we need to be very discerning before we kick everything out and not recognize what is correct and what, or how to go about that business. The fact is that the moving body at the time was jealous for the place that the people in the arts held. And that wasn't just because of them. There's a spirit and operation behind them that was causing it. See, people in the arts up until that time were considered the closest to God because they were directly, the prayer was that they were directly funneling their creativity from heaven, from the Father. And these are things of worship. Even in watching some things or reading some things about the artists back then, they were honestly looking at things that worshiped and glorified God. But there was also these things that were going on that, were not right. And you need to be discerning about what is and what isn't, rather than say all of it is bad. They were saying the arts were a lie. The arts in total were a lie. And they were concerned about what the artist was placing in the image, like subliminal messages that were demonic, supposedly. And I'm not saying that there wasn't one or two or whatever that was. But you need to be discerning about what that is or isn't. And at that point, the church was parenting the arts. That is the avenue where most of the art that was being done at the time was in and about and through the church or for the kingdom, or at least there was a focus of and supported by people trying to do things as worship. The arts lost the parenting that it had, and it's now my sense that God is about the business of fathering the arts into His arms of adoption. This adoption is far more and deeper than the adoption as we understand it in these days. In Jesus' day, His time on earth, the main governing culture was that of the Roman Empire. And this is just an example because I became aware of this in a moment. In their tradition of adoption was much more pervasive. Let's give you an example. Like in the movie Ben-Hur, the main character, Ben-Hur, was imprisoned on a warship, and during battle, he somehow gets free and rescues the commanding general. The general takes Judah, Ben-Hur, to Rome with him and receives him into his home and publicly adopts him. He gives him a ring with the mark, the seal of his family name. That is his signature. During those times, and the manner in which things got done, and the recognized authority in somebody's family was the signature ring. And you had this ring on, and you took it and you hit it into uh, the board, which was a wax imprint kind of thing, and that was your signature to the bill, to whatever was happening at that moment, what you were purchasing or what you were agreeing to, or the contract. That was your signature, and he was given the family ring, the signet, if you will. At that moment, it's saying to all the people that this one is now my son, and his signature, his word, is the same as mine. He is, for all intents and purposes, inherits all that the general owns. He became, just like any regular child would, be the inheritor of what the father left for that child. So it placed him in this whole other level of authority within that realm, if you will. When I was 7 years old, my father passed away. For the years to follow, there was no one that stood in that place of the father. And it was kind of difficult to even do that in the first place. In a lot of ways, I was fine with that, so I could do more of what I really wanted to do. I didn't really want somebody else to be an authority over me. In the recent past years, since I've come into a relationship with Jesus, I've wondered about my inheritance. Not just the financial inheritance, but the inheritance that I would have received from my father had he been alive, with the spiritual flow, if you will, of fathering, the sitting under the tree with him and gleaning from him. I'm not just talking about financial. I've, from time to time, gone before the throne on this issue because it would seem as if I couldn't break through on the things that I was working on, would it have been better if my father had some role in it? From time to time, we all need that hand from someone who is further along the road than you are to make that connection for you. So the last time I went before the throne on this issue of inheritance, he spoke to me saying that I am your inheritance. Well, that's all I needed to hear. I still have moments of struggle with the lack of breakthrough, which totally bewilders me sometimes. But my confidence is in him. It's in God. I have moments of, why isn't it people waking up this? But those are only seconds, and then I go, all right. It's not it won't be as good if it's on my time. It'll be really good when it's on his time. When we've been grasped by the power of a deep affection, we step into the spirit of adoption. We get the signet ring to sign the contracts with. The only deliberate, intentional way to attract and keep the presence of the Holy Spirit is to choose the fruit of His nature, ahead of the power of His giftedness. Again, the issue between character and gift is primary. We value both, but which is made needful. To live by the Spirit, we must embrace the nature of God. Deep, dynamic love is that unselfish and empowering, delivering us into a place of simplicity and wonder. To know beyond all doubt that we are accepted and loved in such a glorious manner releases an understanding about love that is captivating and full of enchantment. I understand and experience love at depth. To understand and experience love at depth is so transforming to our confidence. We belong to a loving Father who will nurture us and consistently through us His faithfulness. That was a quote from Graham Cook, Living in Dependency and Wonder. When we come into that place of understanding who we are as His child, all arguments cease. All deliberation ceases. You just know that you know. The signet ring becomes your witness to the authority of God placed in you. When you come to understand that, well, I hope that blesses you, and there's more to that, but again, just keep coming back and click on subscribe just below there. Give me a thumbs up if you really appreciated that one. And please consider going to my websites and Mana Art and Mana Silks, and check out Kevin Moffat Art. And there's all kinds of ways you can be blessed, and Patreon and propheticsgallery.com. So bless you big, and I'll talk to you soon.